troll channels take everything he's like earned away from him. He hasn't earned a thing. Like this video you're seeing on screen right now, he would never be able to monetize this if it were on YouTube, because he's dropping the F slur like 4 or 5 times in it. So like Cyrax's whole idea that he would be making so much money with his content is such bullshit, considering most of the time he's considering whipping out his bird, saying the N-word, different things. These are things that YouTube or most sites just wouldn't monetize anyway, but he's gonna blame everybody else for that problem, not him.
Did I make a mistake? Yeah, but let me tell you, I'm not sorry for that mistake. And you wanna know why? Because that mistake allowed me to see what's really going on. That mistake showed me the broader picture of what you guys are really about, which is scamming people and targeting people. Targeting people that look like me, that look different. Why? Because y'all are lazy as fuck. You're talentless fucking hack jobs. You don't know how to create your own content, so you go about making money off the backs of other motherfucking people. And you do it by ruining their reputation, and then targeting them, and then making them look like shit. And then the minute that they've had enough of your shit, and they fire back, all of a sudden, they're the bad guys. Nah, motherfuckers, we ain't the bad guys. Y'all motherfuckers are the bad guys. Y'all are the ones that need dealt with. Y'all are the motherfuckers that need shut down. Yeah, I may have done a lot of bad shit, but guess what? That bad shit was brought up by you motherfuckers. I take no blame in the way I reacted, because y'all put me in that position. And you know what I find interesting? What I find very funny and very interesting is this. Y'all tell me to take responsibility for what I did. Why should I take responsibility for what I did when y'all won't take responsibility for what y'all have done? Take your responsibility for what you've done. It's a two-way street, motherfuckers. Cause and effect. Action, reaction.
Oh my god, he is unbelievable. He'll never change. I know I've said that a lot in this video, but just listen to him there. He doesn't regret the mistake he made. Again, he's alluding to him talking to the person he thought was a minor. He doesn't regret that. You know why? Because it made him see all these fakes who want to make money off him. You know, these scammers and this, that, and the third. Like, what? Like, what do these people making fun of you, making videos on you have to do with the mistakes you made in the past that most likely caused you to make those videos? Cause and effect, Cyrax. Action, reaction. What did you expect to happen? I'll tell you what he expected to happen. He expected people to go, no, he's right. He's right. You know, look at all these assholes, like, just a bunch of talentless hacks using Cyrax's hard work on their own channels to make a buck. Just pitiful, pitiful. Let's all praise Cyrax for the great things he does while we throw tomatoes at all these pitiful trolls. And, you know, I know that's much more eloquent than Cyrax would think about it. You know, he'd just think of himself driving like a monster truck over a troll's house or something. But he thinks at the end of the day that he's gonna walk out of this victorious. Somehow, some way, come hell or high water, he's gonna get the W on these trolls. He doesn't know how he's gonna do it. By God, he's gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. And do I think he's going to? No, and I imagine most of you know that he's not going to. But the fact that he's going to sit here and sulk about it for years to come, most likely on YouTube for the entire world to see, it's going to be a pretty humorous thing to see every time another Cyrax video pops up. But let's hope it's more stuff like this and him bitching about the trolls, and less of him just being the horrible little person that we know him to be. And with all that being said, do my best Cyrax impression there. With all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you you guys have a great rest of your day. I know a lot of you have been waiting for these Cyrax videos to return for a long time, and this is more of a one-off. We're going to see what the Goblin is up to. It was pretty interesting, and if anything more happens with him, you know I'll have you guys updated. But for right now, this is it, and we got a lot more videos coming out soon, and I hope you guys enjoy what I've been putting out and what I'm putting out soon. So, until I get all those out, until I see you next time, I'm getting out of here, my friends. So until then, take care, stay safe, and have a great rest of your day, you goats. I'd like to.
What do you think about my new haircut? Ready? So guys, I'm getting a haircut here. Just hey, slow down there. Slow down. Boy, I look nice today.
Hey, let me see, Daniel.
Hey, old Granny. I finally got my haircut done.
So as you can see, Daniel got a haircut, a nice new haircut, by some just random troll on the street. And now, shortly afterwards, I mean, look at him, he's flipping the bird to the camera. He is not happy with his new locks. But, ladies and gentlemen, he's making the best out of it, because that's all Daniel Larson can do. When you live on the streets, you're going bus to bus, here, there, and everywhere, just trying to find a place to lie your head. Well, you gotta make the best out of a bad situation. And I think the haircut, and, it is a pretty gnarly haircut. It's not the best, but for Daniel it kind of works. But no matter what, it's not the worst thing going on in Daniel's life right now, because he's got a whole lot of stuff on his plate. But I thought I'd start out talking about this, because it is really the most shocking thing he's done recently. I mean, look at this shit. He kind of looks like when a cartoon character gets bonked on the head and they immediately grow like a big lump. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I put it up on screen here, and as soon as I put that up on screen, I realized what YouTube could interpret that as. So let's take that down immediately. But yeah, Daniel Larson, it's not been the best of times for him, but when has it been? It's been about a year now since I started covering the guy, and in that year's time, well, we've seen a lot.
I'm on the phone with my security.
You're smoking crack or tweak?
No, I'm not. No, because you hit me. You hit me in there. You ran over me. Bob just ran me over with his car. Bob just ran me over. The motel threatened to kill me. The motel threatened to kill me. The motel threatened to kill me. The motel threatened to kill me.
Guys, holy shit. Oh my god.
If you put one hand on me...
Get the fuck out of here!
Okay, Nick.
Really? It's going to be like that?
You're threatening me, and I don't know if you're going to put hands on me or...
Call me in. It's safe to say that it's been one hell of a year in Larsonian history, but the year goes on, and so much new stuff happens in Daniel's life on a daily basis. It's been quite a while since we checked in on the guy, so today that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and see what type of antics that Daniel gets himself into.
Bob's manager at his work, at his job, found out who I am and fired Bob because he's in contact with me.
I highly doubt that's true, because 9 times out of 10, when Daniel says these type of things, it's troll influenced. He's always getting random text messages from people claiming to be other people in his life, and he believes it hook, line, and sinker every single time. However, let's act like this is real for a second and say that Bob's manager did walk in and go, "Yo, Bob, like, I see what you're doing, all that fornication with Daniel Larson, cut it out." And then when he sees that Bob hasn't stopped yet, the boss just lets go of him. You know, Bob is someone who people have seen Daniel abuse for a long time, and genuinely, you gotta feel for the guy. He really does care about Daniel, and he's the only type of, like, adult figure in his life who can sort out Daniel's problems. But a lot of people don't like Bob because they think he should completely cut Daniel off, and I gotta say, I agree with these people, but it doesn't make me dislike Bob, because I can understand that this dude is like, he has some weird connection to Daniel, and there's other people who have thrown theories out that connection might be a lot weirder than we initially thought, but that's all hearsay. Now what we're going to look at are these so easily identifiably fake screenshots that Daniel is putting on his YouTube page and claiming that they came from the Vanderwall family. The Vanderwall family being the family of the girl Grace that he's been obsessed with almost half of his life now, and I gotta say, it's these text correspondence between Daniel and his trolls are always so outlandish, and Daniel falls for it every time. I know I already mentioned that, but as you're about to see, like, it shows how, like, out of it Daniel really is. He's like Chris in that way, where he's very, very naive, and it's something that he's never going to be able to break, and that's why he needs someone like Bob in his life, but he constantly does so much stuff to push Bob out of it, so it's this dangerous cycle that's always going to repeat until Daniel has nobody left. But, like, I'm going too far into this. Let's look at these screenshots. So Daniel posts a picture of Grace telling him that they apparently want to arrest her parents for their Halloween costumes. She then sends a picture of the costumes and says how outrageous it is, and Daniel titles this, "I bet one of the investigators wants to wear one of those." And they get even more ridiculous, as the next one, Daniel says that Slim Jim from the subreddit sent Grace this shirt and she's wearing it. Now, let's zoom in on this shirt a little bit. I mean, and Daniel, like, he doesn't think twice. He sees this stuff and goes like, "Wow, like, you know, she must really love me to put on that shirt and send me this picture." Like, he doesn't squint, he doesn't do nothing. All he has to do is just see it, and he believes it. And if you needed any more proof, look at this next one. It's a text that Grace screenshotted and sent to Daniel, apparently, that's from her mom. But look at the name on top. Like, if you have an iPhone, you know this isn't the font that's used on there. In the next text we're going to look at, it's the normal one, where someone simply changed their name to Tina Vanderwall instead of going in and putting, like, a Snapchat filter on there. And up there it is. See, it's a different font now. It's the normal one. And in this text, you can see that whoever this is posing as Grace's mom, they're basically just trying to get Daniel to go live and freak out and call out like some fake Secret Service for content. This happens quite a lot with Daniel, and I would say about, like, I don't know, like maybe like 4 or 5 times out of 10 it works. Most times, though, Daniel just writes back a text message not even related to the situation, because he just doesn't feel like doing it right then and there.
Alrighty. So I just called the probation officer, and she didn't answer. So, looks like I'm going crazy for the weekend.
You gotta love to see Daniel's constant attempts to kind of manipulate people into doing what he wants them to do by saying things like, if you don't do this, I'm gonna go crazy. He always says he's gonna commit seppuku, do a bunch of these things if people don't do what he wants. And now, his probation officer, well, they're not answering the phone, so whatever happens to anyone around my immediate vicinity is on you now. You see the title on this next one, and you know exactly what's about to happen. Just more intercepting from the trolls.
Get the fuck out of here! I will call the fucking police! Alrighty, so last night I got a motel room. It was $250.
Why? Why do that? Daniel is homeless. Daniel isn't even someone who lives paycheck to paycheck. He lives donation to donation. He's lucky to eat one meal a day, and most times he simply dine and dashes. He's so pressed for money, in fact, that he's been freaking out at Bob, the same guy he abuses all the time, for not paying for everything for him. And he also will go live most nights and just have the camera up where it's a black screen and he's sleeping like against a wall somewhere. You can't see anything, but he's just keeping it up so that hopefully people donate. Daniel he needs this money to survive and to just get through his daily life, and he's fine with doing that on the street. But when he does decide to get a motel, he always seemingly just balls the fuck out. Like, why? Just go stay at like a Motel 6 for like $69 a night. You can get yourself like 5 nights for that price. But I don't know. Maybe Daniel just likes to live lavish. But if I were in his shoes, it's not the type of life I would want to live. Well, I spoke too soon. Looks like it's nothing but City View Marriotts for the rest of Daniel's days. Because if this title is to be believed, Daniel's becoming rich.
Thank you to all of my fans for the support. Thank you, David Buskers, for the support.
He's got $15 in his hand. Apparently he's becoming rich. It wasn't too long ago that Daniel made like a few thousand off his cameos and everything. So I don't know why he wasn't flaunting that, saying he was going to be rich. But now this $15 is going to take him to the moon. Secondly, he says that he thanks Dave and Buskers for the support. I bet you Dave and Buskers, if they ever saw this video, is like, no, we do not support no types of Daniel Larson.
Alrighty, so Bob just got laid off of his job, so I am now the only working person within the family.
So Daniel says that Bob got laid off, which would be terrifying for Daniel because he wouldn't be able to mooch off of Bob because Bob would have less disposable income. But again, I'm pretty sure he's probably just talking to a troll posing as Bob. But then Daniel says that he is the only working person now within this family. Firstly, him thinking that he actually has a job and he's always working is, it's Daniel, so it's not shocking that he thinks that all these locals think what they do online is a job. But just hearing him say it's so ridiculous. Daniel says that he's the one in the family, though, who makes the most money. And calling him and Bob's relationship a family still is weird. When Daniel, it's obvious that all he cares about is the money that Bob can give him.
Hello, everyone. So, yesterday, for Westminster City Court, Municipal Court, I pleaded guilty to 1 year supervised probation, and I have to pay restitution. That was for the gas station issue where the guy grabbed my throat and the window got broken. I went ahead and pleaded guilty for the window.
What Daniel is talking about here is the fact that a few weeks ago he had to go to court and got given a 1 year probation due to his massive freakout he had inside of a gas station after his dog Music was taken from him. Now, if you don't remember that situation, Daniel Larson, a man who can't take care of himself, got a dog, named it Music, and was barely even giving it water. And people wanted to get this dog away from Daniel and get it back to somewhere where it could really be taken care of. And when it happened, Daniel lost his mind, 2-year probation, and let's all take a wild guess if he's gonna break it or not. Well, what would you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. You think Daniel can go a year without possibly breaking his probation? I highly doubt it.
Taylor Swift is moving really, really fast in her new relationship. It's not going to hold out.
All jokes aside, he's probably right about the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce thing. Nonetheless, Daniel probably just wants Taylor Swift for himself, so there's that.
Alright, you guys know my PayPal link in my comments and on my videos. Donate to my flippin' PayPal account. Right. People in my fan base are making fake accounts impersonating to be me so the fans donate, and people steal money. And it goes to people that are impersonators.
Oh, I fully believe that some people are probably doing that, but I think what Daniel's referring to here is the fact that people are making merch and selling it. Some merch that has, like, the Larson name on it and stuff, and nonetheless, I mean, if it's not trademarked, Daniel, you're shit out of luck. And he also wants to remind people to donate to his flippin' PayPal. You know he wanted to go off right there and be like, hey guys, like, how am I gonna pay for my studio this month? And I need to go see Grace. You guys need to get me donations. Like, he really does feel like that people owe him these things. Even people like Bob, who've taken care of him for such a long time, he still feels like he's owed this from Bob because he's not getting it from the rest of the world as he should be, because he's like a world-famous star, musician, yada yada yada. He just expects everything given to him. Not a shocker, though, if you know what Daniel's like.
I need to pay my current phone bill by tonight, and it's $50. Alright, it's now No Nut November.
I would put money on it that whoever paid Daniel's phone bill was also the one who asked him to make that No Nut November video. I say that because of the big smile Daniel has on his face, kind of like he just got something paid for and he's in a swell mood. Besides, people ask Daniel to do that type of goofy shit all the time, and as long as you're paying him to do it, he seemingly has no problem with it. But alas, ladies and gentlemen, even if you think you have some funny idea for one of these lolcows, never pay them, and always watch from afar.
The CU University scholarship that I had, and still have, is a full ride scholarship. The Boulder County judge threatened me with a longer sentence because the fans leaked the courtroom information and videotapes.
See, that kind of surprises me, because the trolls have done this before. If you forget, when Daniel was arrested at Boulder, when he tried to get into the football game to go talk to Deion Sanders, when he was in jail for a weekend, it was time for him to see a judge on Monday, and people just flooded this online courtroom. People were drawing like dicks and everything on the screen. It was just a mess. It was an absolute mess. And eventually, they just gave up, and Daniel just left jail that day. So the trolls really just got Daniel out of trouble when I think most people want to see this man behind bars. And in this occasion, the judge threatened Daniel over the antics of the trolls, because I'm not sure what happened, but it was probably something like the last time, where at least people were harassing the courtroom enough to the point where they brought this up to Daniel. And yeah, it's always going to be a tricky situation when someone like Daniel or someone like Cyrax goes to court or something, because with the massive followings that a lot of these locals have, everyone wants to get involved, and it can be a problem. You see, like, Daniel ends up walking out of jail. Cyrax ended up getting off, but that was more because the guy who was pressing charges kind of wimped out. But it always happens this way. When a bunch of people try to get involved, try to make shit like funny in their own way, and it never works out, and these locals always end up getting the W. You never want to do that. But in this situation, the judge seemingly just pointed the finger at Daniel, and that can be nothing but bad for the little guy. because his trolls are pretty relentless.
Because of the amount of money Bob is giving me and the amount I am making in music sales, I no longer qualify for the public defenders. The person that got me banned from CU University Boulder campus was private security for the CU football game only, a private company. So, Grace Vanderwall has asked me if I wanted to go to London Fashion Week with her 2024.
Jesus, he's all over the place, and he's always like this, but every time I go and make a video on him, it always shocks me nonetheless. But where we start with that little series of clips, Daniel talks about not being able to get a public defender anymore due to the money that he makes and the money that Bob gives to him. And then he gives a very fearful look at the end, because if you know anything about Daniel, you know that he does not want to pay for anything he doesn't have to. Because yes, he could always hire a real lawyer, someone who could actually do this job better, but you know, it's not worth it if Daniel can't get some of those $250 hotel rooms, damn it. Then Daniel brings up him getting arrested at the CU football game, and the fact that the person who apprehended him, the security guard, well, he was a private security guard. He didn't work for the school. And I think this goes back to Daniel thinking that the made-up scholarship that Deion Sanders is giving him, you know, the $10,000 celebrity scholarship. I can't even say it with a straight face, but Daniel truly believes that Deion is giving him a $10,000 celebrity scholarship that they give to celebrities to come to the school, you know? Because obviously those are the people who need money, the people with the most money. And Daniel thinks, because this person is a private security guard and not someone who works for the school, that he can waltz back on in there. Because it's not like anyone from the school said anything to him. It was only this private security guard that they hired. So he's A-okay to head back in there and maybe try out for the football team if Deion really needs him to. And then in the final clip, Daniel says that Grace Vanderwall wants him to go with her to Fashion Week in 2024 over in London. And of course he thinks this. He's back to the beginning of the cycle. He thinks that Grace is still in love with him. And no matter what Grace does or says, Daniel will never be able to stop. I mean, I showed that series of clips in the beginning of the video all throughout the year. A lot of those times when Daniel's like beating himself up, literally and figuratively, he was doing it because of Grace. And Grace, or people who are, you know, posing as Grace, because he's never talked to the real girl, and he just keeps falling for these trolls, and no matter what type of crazy bullshit they say to him, and they do say a lot, he will consistently keep falling back into the trap. And the saddest thing about all this is that Daniel's feelings for Grace are pretty goddamn genuine for a guy who's never met this woman in his life. And while I say it's sad, it's more along the lines of creepy, because we've seen how people like this have acted before, you know? You look at a lot of people who ended up being like serial killers and all. They have these infatuations with women who don't even know they exist, and Daniel's making videos like you're about to see, directed towards Grace, and you can see the guy has some love in his heart, but he's got to realize at some point in his life that this woman's feelings aren't reciprocated. But the problem is there's so many trolls coming at him on a daily basis that he really thinks he's talking to her, and all it can do is lead to like bad times for Grace if Daniel's ever like around her or anything. But let's just hope it never gets to that point, and thank God for security guards.
Hello everyone. Today is November 4th, 2023, and I am going to be talking about Grace Vanderwall and I, and what I like about her, and why I think I could be a good boyfriend and future husband. First off, I want to say that Grace is an amazing, talented person you can only find once in a generation, once in a lifetime. You will never see anything like her again. She's unique, she's funny, she's smart, she's everything you ever wanted to be. I love her music. She does everything I do, from singing to acting to fashion. She travels the world. She has everything that I want in my life. She is smart. It's never been about age. It's always been about true love. I feel like in life you can never give up. No matter what happens, you have to keep fighting, no matter how hard it gets. I know I've messed up in my life. Everyone does. But that's not a reason to give up on something. I want nothing else in my life other than grace. And I will fight every single day until I get it. Love you, Grace, and I can't wait for our future.
Yeah, see, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I get he's passionate about this. He really loves this person, but this needs to be nipped in the bud as soon as possible, because Daniel, he keeps going on like this. He's already obsessed. You don't want this dude to get any crazy ideas if the girl eventually says she wants nothing to do with him, stops getting in contact with him. Like, what's gonna happen when all the trolls dry up and there's no Grace VanderWaal texting him? He's gonna try everything in his power to go find out why she stopped talking to him. And you heard him there say it, that he will not stop at anything until he gets what he wants, and what he wants is Grace's love. You can draw parallels to Chris Chan, because Chris was always trolled by people pretending to be women in his life, women who were love interests to him, and he would always believe them, even if there was no proof or nothing. Chris just took them at their word, just like Daniel does here. And Chris still does this almost into his 40s. A lot of people speculate that the woman he's with right now is a troll herself. But Daniel's like 23, 24 years old. And, that just shows that he can be doing this for years and years to come. But as of right now, the only woman he's interested in is Grace VanderWaal. But I kind of take that back, because he's interested in a lot of women. And a lot of times, a lot of these women were underage. Grace being one of them when Daniel first formed his infatuation with her. And in that little clip we just watched, Daniel even brought up that it's never been about age, because despite people always telling him it was weird, he was never willing to accept that. And if he's never willing to accept creepy things like that, he'll probably never be willing to accept the fact that she doesn't love him at all. And who knows, man, where this could go, but I only see it leading to bad places. And really, that's what Daniel's been up to. Just his usual, this crazy bullshit. And is it gonna change anytime soon? Probably not. That's always the moral of the story at the end of these Daniel videos. It's the moral of the story of almost every video I make. Yeah, these people are crazy, and it's not gonna get any better, and they're only gonna get worse. I truly feel that Daniel, out of all the lolcows, is the one that's on the most slippery path. And he really needs to figure things out, and he's incapable of it because his mind just doesn't work like that. Even more than Cyrax, even more than guys like White Bowser, Daniel's in the worst position to constantly be messed with. Daniel's out there, he's on the streets, he's always looking for a helping hand, while all these other locals are mostly just hunkered down in their house, just waiting for people to text them and say some weird shit. And while people do that to Daniel too, he's always constantly looking to meet up with people, willing to do what most people just say on a whim. Friends, last week we did a video on Daniel Larson and the fact that he was finally arrested after all this time. Now, for many people, this was cause for celebration to get this little problem causer, little degenerate off the streets of Denver, Colorado. But now we get to see everything happen in real time because the body cam footage was released, a call from jail in which Daniel just rants and raves and blames it on people like Bob for him being in jail, and also more of that classroom footage that Daniel was taking before he got put in jail. Now, at this moment in the video right here, I know there's no sound, but he's basically just telling these cops, look, I need to go to class. I got class later today. And when you see what these classes actually consist of, because trust me, ladies and gentlemen, when I first heard this stuff, I knew I was going to be cracking up. But before we get to that, I want to give a big shout out to today's sponsor. Ladies and gentlemen, this video today is sponsored by Aura. Have you ever wondered how much of your personal information is actually out there available online? Well, that's because data brokers are legally allowed to sell your info to pretty much anybody they want to. That's why I've been using Aura recently, and genuinely I've never felt safer online. Aura lets you know exactly which data brokers are selling your information, and they submit opt-out requests for you, so you don't have to go through all the hassle of taking it down yourself.
Get all that stuff off of there.
Cleaning up this info not only reduces the amount of spam calls you get, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, you can thank the data brokers for that one, but it also makes it less likely that hackers will be able to access many of your accounts. Aura really does so much to protect you and your family from online threats that you can't even see. It's really easy to set up, so I don't have to download several different apps to get things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more. Aura has many different ways it protects you. You can get everything at one affordable price. You may already have one or two of these tools already, but not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. My friends, Aura is always on, doing the hard work and keeping me safe so I can focus on other tasks with peace of mind, such as this video you're about to see today. Look, I value my privacy, and if you're watching this video right now, I value yours as well. You can go to aura.com/SmokeyMCC right now for a 2-week free trial of Aura. Also linked down in the description below. That is aura.com/SmokeyMCC. The internet can be a scary place, ladies and gentlemen, but with Aura in your corner, you can feel a lot more safe. So last week when the word got out that Daniel was arrested, many people, including myself, were very, very confused about the fact that there was no recording of this. Knowing Daniel Larson, he records any little instance that happens that he might find trouble. Getting arrested was definitely one of those things. And I remember there were rumors of people saying, well, Daniel probably just got picked up sleeping somewhere early in the morning and didn't have the time to whip out his phone and record the cops doing so. And now we found out that that's not true. He was simply sitting here at the mall, trying to enjoy a piece of Sbarro pizza, which honestly, I think brings up a good point that, Daniel's someone who's homeless. He only gets like 1 or 2 meals a day, and this was probably he was looking forward to the slice all day long. And by the time he sat there to eat, he probably didn't get 1 or 2 bites in before those hands were behind his back, and he couldn't pick that pizza up no more. That had to suck. But then again, these are the things you have to think about before you have outstanding warrants, which is what Daniel got arrested here for. Now, at this point in time, the cops are taking him out to one of their squad cars, and they're going to put Daniel in the back, and you'll see a bit of an interview here with the cop and Daniel. And for what it's worth, the cop seems like he really knows how to handle somebody like Daniel, somebody who's a bit mentally disturbed, and he's very kind to Daniel, which is something the cops usually, they usually don't have time for. They're tired of this dude just asking them a million questions, but this dude seems very receptive to anything Daniel asks. So I need you to keep this part of the clip in mind, the part where they put Daniel's hands behind his back. Because for what it's worth, they are pretty gentle for someone like Daniel. Obviously, they need to use some force to get his hands there, but the cuffs on him, and after that they can figure everything out. But when you see what Daniel says about the bleeder, he has an entirely different idea of what happened here. These guys were very understanding, telling Daniel just relax, everything's going to be cool, while other cops were just telling him, be quiet, you know, you're under arrest and all this. And Daniel, even with these cops being as nice as they could possibly be, some things later on in the video.
We had a couple conversations at the mall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You good? You good? You got your... So you want to explain it to him real quick? Yeah. And so what we're going to do is issue a trespass from this mall. It is for life. So you're not welcome back. We have all your information here. We're just going to get a picture of you. And then after today, you're just not welcome back here. Okay. Right, so as long as you stay away from the mall, you should be all good. Okay, brother?
And it's for
Okay, so if you just want to look into this real quick.
So Daniel gets trespassed by this mall for life, and I don't know if that's because he just got arrested inside the mall, or because he was making threats towards the mall. Because later on in the video again, you're gonna hear one of the sergeants or whoever was at the police station that Daniel was talking to say, you know, we are aware of all these crazy threats by Nick, and Daniel simply chalks that up as, yeah, it's just more troll nonsense, when at the end of the day, it's something I can absolutely see Daniel doing. So Daniel lets these cops know that he was aware that he had warrants out there, but he didn't know that they could simply arrest him for them. Now that's because one of them was for statewide, the other one was for citywide, and Daniel thought by just getting out of one of the particular cities, he would have a smooth sailing time, just not dealing with the cops at all. And now look where he is, in the back of the police car, not knowing what the fuck to do. But let's be honest, we all knew that he knew about all of these warrants, but he just didn't feel like they were important enough to focus on. What was important was going to his UCLA classes where he was learning about the history of music, and also just working on his music, and also grade school ball too. Nonetheless, this wasn't even in his top 20 of priorities for the week, but now it's his only priority, and it's just weird to think what's actually going on with old Daniel right now behind those prison walls. A lot of people have given the presumption that he's probably just freaking out daily and making the other inmates feel pretty uncomfortable. Now, we know what happened last night. Apparently Daniel didn't shower, he was smelling, and some of the inmates didn't like that very much. So this time around, I hope he at least learns that he needs to bathe well, have a better attitude on him, but it's Daniel at the end of the day. He's a wild card in there. Who knows what's going on? But now, ladies and gentlemen, it's important for you guys to remember that clip I told you to keep in mind, because Daniel is now going to be at the police station. He's going to tell the sergeant just how wrong it was for these officers to be so roughly?
Sergeant Davis, I was one. I was there.
So when I was met with the officers that arrested me, they grabbed both my arms and put them behind my back.
It's called arrest control.
Right.
Okay.
I feel like it was kind of aggressive.
It may have been a little aggressive.
Yes.
Okay, do you know what kind of warrant you have?
I do, yes.
Do you think that due to the fact that you have a history of being violent with other people, that maybe that's why they did that? Because here's the thing,
Right.
if they do that and then that keeps you from being violent, then that keeps you from being hurt, doesn't it?
Right.
Okay.
And I agree. I just feel like it was aggressive for the meaning of what they were trying to do at that time. I feel like if I was being aggressive, then I feel like that makes sense.
Okay, did you make statements that you were going to shoot the Aurora Mall?
I did not.
Okay, on TikTok you did not do that?
No.
Okay, well that's possibly one of the things that you got this warrants on is because of that. Okay, so that's up for debate, but that's the information that we have. So we don't know if you're armed. We don't know what other weapons you may have on you. So what do you use to what part of your body do you use if you're going to use a weapon? You would use your hands,
I
right?
would use my hands.
Exactly. So we want to have control of your hands. And so for arrest control, the way that we do arrest control is we gain control of the hands, and there's certain ways that we do that. There's a twist lock, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. All right, it's not the most comfortable thing to have your hand physically. Okay, but what does that keep you from doing? It keeps you from fighting.
Right.
So, I mean, right off the jump, the cop just puts Daniel in his place, telling him, look, we know you're a violent individual. We're not allowed to take any chance to put our officers at risk. You know Daniel wanted to snap back in that instant and be like, no, it's not me. It's all these made-up words the trolls say. But the cop does chime in and say that maybe one of those warrants is for him threatening to, to go shoot the mob. So, I mean, has this been something Daniel said on TikTok? I don't know. Has he made a TikTok saying this? I haven't seen one personally, but if the cop's telling him that, I imagine they've gotten some type of tip towards it. But he does say that, it could be not true. So even the cop doesn't know for a fact if this is right or not, but we'll have to see in due time.
Another thing is I am extremely popular on social media.
Okay.
So it doesn't surprise me that one of my fans would have called the Aurora Mall
Okay.
and then claimed I said something I didn't, because that happens all the time as well.
Okay, all right. So I will give you my card, my business card, okay?
Okay.
And if you want to watch a complaint, there's a complaint number on the back, or you can call me directly, okay, from the card if you have any other questions, okay? I would tell you that you're probably going to get a better return as far as someone talking to you if you just call me if you have any other questions, okay?
Okay.
All right, does that work?
That works.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, immediately right there, Daniel's like, look, I'm extremely so it wouldn't surprise me if my fans called and said that I did that. Now, is he that wrong in believing that could be something that happened? No, he's not. I know Daniel's kind of crazy, but that is something I could plausibly see that happen. But I'm not just going to say that's what happened, because either side could really be telling the truth here. All I know is it's a slippery slope if you just start believing every time Daniel says, oh no, the trolls did this, because it would allow him to get out of any trouble by saying it was this gaggle of people following around. Now, to be fair, a lot of people now will just agree, yeah, Daniel's been getting harassed online, so it must be these people just paying to go there and fight again. Look what happened the last time he was at court. He went up there, he tried to go, just say his piece with his sentencing or whatever. People were throwing dips and stuff on the court. I don't even know how they did it, but I guess it was like some Zoom type of court case, and yeah, he got in there, started messing around, and the courts probably looked at it like, see, all this dude is getting is so much like harassment. They're even harassing the courts now. It paints a bad light when all these people harass him. It gives him excuses every time he does something shitty. So God forbid he does do something really reprehensible. You know he's just going to point the finger at the trolls. Just bring that up. Now though, you've seen the arrest footage. Now it's time to listen to Daniel channel and the Flexburger channel. Shout out to those guys.
I know. That's crazy.
Okay, so I have a couple things to tell you, I guess. I don't know, have you had any contact with the outside world yet?
Well, sadly, Toby Keith passed away.
The guy who sings, yeah, who sings Red Solo Cup? Yeah. Yeah.
So Daniel immediately points the finger at Bob and says it's actually Bob's fault that he's in this because Bob isn't giving him the money to get to his court dates and everything. This is just ridiculous from Daniel. He's been doing this for so long, acting like Bob owes him a free apartment. Bob owes him free rooms at hotels. It's just because Bob's the only person in his life that gives even a shit about him. So he expects this person just to cough up whatever he needs because that's the type of person Daniel is. When he knows he can get stuff out of you, he'll try to get as much as possible. But when you don't give it to him, you're basically the scapegoat for all of his problems because it now falls on your shoulders that he's in trouble. I wonder if we're going to start getting crazy Daniel Larson jail letters in the vein of Chris Chan's, but Daniel's are just going to be him ranting at Bob for not sending him commissary. But I don't think he has to worry about that because there's still a lot of people out there who see no problem in giving someone who's an accused predator like Daniel Larson a single dime of their money. But like I said, there's also people who spend all day talking to Daniel on the phone, like this guy in the video, Clark here. I'll have another video in the description below from Larson Week, in which Clark says that he spent hours on the phone with Daniel on one. It was either his Thanksgiving or Christmas, but he spent like 12 hours on the phone with Daniel. These guys really spend a lot of time around him, and that's why he has no problem calling them and divulging all this info, if you were curious as to why Daniel just trusts this guy so much.
Well, so how you doing so far? Did they have you in, like, general population, like, with a bunch of other people? Oh, okay. I know $20,000. No, I mean, it would be max, is what I was looking into, I think 120 days. Oh man, that's scary.
Oh man, you can just tell the moment that Daniel realized how much time he actually could be spending in there. You know up until this point Daniel probably hadn't been told anything, and who knows if he'll actually stay 120 days. I just think this guy Clark looked up what the usual sentence for what Daniel's in there for. Usually, how many days you gotta spend in there for. And Daniel, the stunned silence when he hears that, because he was trying to be optimistic, he heard him, he's like, I don't think I'll be in here too long. And I think in his mind he thought maybe 2 or 3 more days, give or take, and I'll be out of here. But when he heard that 120, man, that shit hit him like a ton of bricks. Because I don't think he realized that he would spend any type of time more than a few days in there. And it's kind of like the Chris Chan thing, where Chris was adamant that he was going to get out there in a few weeks. He ended up spending 2 years up in that bitch. So who knows? Especially if Daniel shows that he's absolutely crazy in there, he can stay in there for God knows how long. But again, I've said this time and time again, that is the time will tell.
Like a whole thing, they like surrounded you in the mall, it was crazy.
it's obvious that they don't even trust Daniel enough to let him know anything for his own safety. They bring up the fact that, you know, it could be one of the fans trying to break him out. And I know that's all in fun and games and everything, but they probably don't want Daniel to know anything because they know he would spill the beans to anyone he's talking to over the phone. I don't know if they know well enough that any of these phone calls he's making aren't going to be to anyone legitimate, but maybe they do, and they're keeping all info from Daniel so it doesn't get out, because he will find a way to get it out there. If they take away the phone, he'll write letters. If you take away the letters, he'll just stand by the fence at whatever prison he's at and wait till some troll drives by, which they inevitably will, looking for Daniel, and he'll just start screaming, "Hey, get out of here." You know, he'll always find a way. He doxes himself, he gives away his personal info with ease. It's just something he does and something he feels safe doing to people that he actually trusts. And it's always funny because these people are never people he should actually trust. But again, yeah, it just shows that Daniel, he's not all there, and they know he's not all there. He brought up earlier too, they have him in some, like, you know, protected general population, probably because people have been informing the prisoners of what Daniel's done. I'll let you guys know right now, I'm not going to publicize any of these or give anyone any attention, but I have gotten a lot of comments on my most recent Daniel Larson videos that it very well could be trolling, but I'll let you know right now, I've gotten a whole bunch of comments saying, "Yo, I've been writing to people in the jail telling them that Daniel's a predator." And, like, I'm not saying, like, one or two messages, probably, like, 5, 6, maybe 7. So, not all these people are probably lying, and they know what's going on, at least. So, that's just something I wanted to throw out there. That's probably why he's in protected custody, or it's just because they know he's incredibly mentally ill.
And also, your mugshot's going viral. Yeah, it's viral. No, no, there's no videos of you with, like, other prisoners just getting shut down. True. Yeah, oh my god, she was shocked. And I was like, because we thought you would be out by the morning, and then everything just kept getting worse and worse. Don't worry, Daniel, I never give up. I do what I had to do. Yeah, she is. And so is the whole UCLA thing, because the votes came in later that day, and you won. And then since you were nowhere to be seen, Chang took over. So you got to take your place back once you get out. Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, that's weird.
So that was a few clips right there, all molded into one. And in the first one, Daniel seems very scared about some footage getting out there. When this guy Clark tells him that fans were leaking all of the footage, Daniel seemed very, very worried when he heard about, well, did they get any footage from general population with him and the other prisoners? So what footage is Daniel really worried of getting out there? I have no idea, but knowing Larson, it can't be any good. And then his other big worry is, well, is Grace okay? And it shows that even when locked up, he still cares about the one woman he cares about in his life. Now, it's sad when you consider that she's not, well, she is real, but the one that he's thinking about isn't real, and she actually doesn't know him at all, other than him being the creepy guy in her Instagram comments. So, his priorities are simply the woman that he's not actually talking to, and this elusive video that's something that went on with him and the prisoners. And then, that mess of a clip at the end there, where they talk about Daniel winning the presidency award at UCLA, but Daniel wasn't there to accept it, so they gave it to the runner-up, Chang. And Chang, well, he's making some terrible rules for the government. And again, look at Daniel caring about all the other people, trying to get the rules. We can't let Chang's rules be the rules that UCLA is governed under. And once Daniel gets out, hopefully he's the savior for UCLA. But again, ladies and gentlemen, like usual, time will tell. But yeah, now don't see those dogs being served at UCLA. That sounds terrible. The final thing I want to look at here, because this call was pretty entertaining. The arrest footage when you first see it can give you a chuckle. But man, ladies and gentlemen, nothing makes me laugh like these Daniel Larson classroom segments that have been getting uploaded on the Flexburger and Larson channel. Guys, like this is literally. We talked about this a few weeks back. That Daniel had been going to these fake classrooms, and no one knew where they were being held. If people were set PowerPoints and being told to look at them, or if these were actual classrooms going on inside of Discord calls. And well, it ended up being the latter. And these calls are just as off the wall as you would imagine, because it's a bunch of dudes sitting there pretending to be in a classroom, and really at the end of the day, it's all just surrounding Daniel and waiting for him to raise his hand. And funnily enough, he raises that hand pretty often. So let's check out some of the highlights of these.
Courtney Heck.
I'm here.
Daniel Larson.
Here.
Danny G. German.
Here.
Fletcher Cox. Jimmy Chu.
It's pronounced Chode, yo.
Alright. And John Rockefeller.
Here.
Alright. Thank you guys for being on time. So has anybody seen any of these movies here? One of the best productions of music that I've seen in some of these movies was Hiroshima. Hiroshima was recently released 2 years ago by Disney, and that won multiple Grammys for its musical production.
Interesting.
Has anybody seen any of these movies? Or has any input on the sound?
I like One Jar.
One Jar is very good. Same people who created the movie Up.
I like Top Gun.
Top Gun is very good. Yes, Top Gun with Tom Cruise. Now we have famous singers, right? Now the people who sing these songs for these movies and TV productions and musicals usually become famous of what they contribute to these TV shows and movies, right? So you have artists like Ariana Grande, Juice WRLD, Mariah Carey, Bobby Flay, right? These are all famous people who've contributed to these types of songs, these types of productions. Sir Ruben Madej, he was a medieval composer in Germany at the time. He was from Germany. This was a artist rendition of him. Very accurate, because back in the day, a lot of people would get paintings of themselves. So this was the first song written by Ruben. All right. I went to the town. Actually, I'll have somebody read this, actually, since I read the last one. Would anybody like to volunteer for extra credit to read what is on the slideshow right now? Would anybody like to volunteer?
I would.
Okay, for sure.
Song by Ruben. I went to the town with a frown. The people laughed over me. It wasn't my fault, and I got hard. I got hard on the corner of Orphanage Street.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. Mr. Larson gets extra credit. Thank you for volunteering. It was very, very good. Yes, so that was the first song that was ever written by Ruben.
Those were just a few short clips of all these crazy classroom segments going on. I'm going to have all them linked in the description below, and I highly advise you go and check them out. I find this type of trolling to be some of the funniest, because I've been saying it for so long, ladies and gentlemen. If Daniel Larson could just not be out on the streets like hurting people, or at least be at the risk to hurt people, because the trolls have to go to hotels and restaurants and all that, we gotta stop that. But when these people had him going to these fake classrooms and preoccupying his time by telling him that Bobby Flay is like an all-time singer, well, at the end of the day, that's just good, lighthearted trolling right there. So this had me cracking up. I can only imagine what these guys had planned if Larson didn't get arrested, but again, that's something we'll never sadly find out. maybe he'll want to jump back into these classes once he gets out, but let's see when he does. He'll probably just have to really catch up with Grace and get more song writing done, so he'll probably have no time for these classes. But this is what we know now of Larson. He's not seemingly getting out of jail anytime soon, and that's really about it. He might be making more of these jail calls. As a matter of fact, I would assume he would. With Chris, people would record him and put them online. Most of the time they weren't very good quality. But Larson calls, I mean, look at what the Larson guys made. They had subtitles and everything. It was great. So anything new that happens with Larson from jail, I'm pretty sure we'll find out about it pretty early on. And you guys know if you want to keep up to date on this Larson story, then you can check right here at any real time if anything happens, and I'll have you covered. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And remember, if you want to sign up for Aura, they're an awesome service, and I got my 2-week free trial down below, aura.com/SmokeyMCC. You guys are the best. You guys have always been great to me. You've been an awesome community. And
You need help. You're gonna get help. You're gonna lose your jobs. Dumb motherfuckers. Did you hear them, you guys? You guys all see it. This is going viral, motherfuckers. Oh, Jesus, help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord, you guys. This is not gonna happen. They tell me I need help. Whoa. They got a lot of nerve. The Sheriff's Department in Missouri. They are fucking full of it, man. I've got, you guys, I need gas money, please. Somebody, please. I don't know if I can get, oh, I fucking pass out so bad. I need help. I need help. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna get the picture. Please help me get gas. I'm gonna take you to show you a field in your mark.
Tammy is very serious about this self-perceived hemlock infestation. Even though her and Dawn are now broken up, she still has a fascination with the fields outside of his home because she claims that this is the source of this deadly hemlock. She tried contacting the government about it. She's talked to the police numerous times and claims that she will not give up until people believe her. As I said earlier, Tammy is an extremely determined person. So if you thought this was the end of her quest to raise awareness about hemlock, you'd be very wrong. One of the most iconic clips of Tammy Hole is also one that is not known by a massive amount of people. It would be of her visiting a town hall meeting to raise awareness about this hemlock infestation. Tammy stands before the whole board of the city and a crowd of people in the hopes that someone will finally believe her.
My name is Tammy Hall, and I'm currently living wherever I park my truck. But anyways, I came to this town, and I met a guy, and I went through a living hell. I'd like to talk to somebody outside of this room about what all I've been through, so I don't want to go into detail and bore everybody with it. But before I left, because I went all the way to Washington, D.C. to try to be heard, I went to George Washington Carver State Park. You guys all know that. Thousands of kids go out there. It is so poisoned and thickened by hemlock and water hemlock, the eastern hemlock. Somebody needs to wake the hell up and pay attention. Got to look at it because it's bad. I'm sorry, I get so emotional thinking about it because it's been 3 years I've been dealing with this, and I went through a living hell. It's the pink in the sky. I said that the last time. I mean, I would like the respect of somebody, because I expected a call. The last time I came to the meeting, I told you it's about this grass. I can take kids out to it, and it's a patch over by the Circle E. The house next to the Circle E, it's got a field so infested. And I've been to 15 doctors, a dermatologist, and I've been mocked so much my legs are shaking. And I don't want another person to go through this. I believe in, if you see something, I believe in telling people and making awareness, and it's ignorance to ignore it when you hear it. Because anybody in here can Google, my leg is going 900 to nothing shaking. But you can Google it, and it causes distortion of the body. It causes madness. I've got so much proof. But in the last 3 years, I've been begging somebody to hear me out. No one saw my pictures. No one has listened to me, really. And it has been a very lonely place to be. But in the depth above his head, it says, "In God we trust." We all need to read that. Because this is God's plan. You go out to George Washington Carver's State Park, and the second little monument or little black thing that's out there, it says George Washington Carver and God had a secret garden. This is their secret garden. It's out of hand. We've all gotten wrapped up in I'm sorry, I don't mean no offense by this, but our makeup, our hair, our earrings, what we're driving, you know, how we smell, instead of how we act, how we treat each other. But the last time I came, I expected a phone call. I felt so stupid. I came in here with my big ass poster board with pictures because I figured if I'd done it in black and white and pointed it out to people, they might hear me out. But I'm very disturbed that no phone called. You know, and I called the city hall and stuff and asked, you know, to talk to somebody because this is very important. God has showed things to a lot of different people that didn't look like they were much. You know, and I very highly doubt Jesus had a comb. You know? So we need to be a little less judgy. And the Jasper County Sheriff's Department, somebody needs to get a hold of me for what's going on there. I have been bullied. Big time. Don't touch it. You cannot touch it. And another thing about it, you cannot burn it. You cannot burn it.
As you can see, Tammy takes the Hemlock situation very seriously, even traveling to Washington one time to spread awareness. I'm sure you heard her talk about the park that was absolutely crawling with it. There are also a lot of religious connections for this with Tammy, mentioning a secret garden of God that has gotten out of control. You also heard her mention the field by Dawn's house once again. Tammy has an utter fascination with this field that she claims is overrun with hemlock. And Tammy will go back there to try to gather quote-unquote evidence. Dawn has a new girlfriend, and when he spotted Tammy in his field one time, he wasn't very happy, with Dawn threatening Tammy and them getting into an argument. Police were called, and when they arrived, Tammy tried to once again use this as a way to show people the hemlock. After telling the police all of this, she was promptly put onto a 72-hour psychiatric hold. And after she was released, she would make a TikTok explaining what had happened.
They're lying through their fucking teeth, and when they hit me this morning, it made me so fucking mad, I cannot stand it. So they hadn't even tested nothing, they hadn't even done anything. I want the proof. I want proof. I want fucking proof, Jasper County. You flops. Fucking failures. Disposable. I had a vape, though, and I lost it. And I didn't even have it the day I went up there. The lazy motherfuckers need to check his fucking phone records. Because he fucking called me. And I'm fucking tired of his ass. I'm tired of worrying. I'm tired of being like this. I want to move on. God. A shady fucking sheriff department. Jasper County. They're lying motherfuckers.
After the 72-hour hold, Tammy decided that she had finally had it with Jasper County, deciding to live around the Washington, D.C. area, which is where she is currently today. And ever since the move, things have only gotten worse. Instead of going on about Jasper County, she now goes on about the government as a whole, and how none of them are taking her hemlock theory seriously.
Fuck you, government, you lazy, lousy sex shit! Allowing this shit to happen! You're not scaring me! You're pissing me off! You're pissing me the fuck off! I'm not scared of you motherfuckers! Don't be a coward! Come to my face! Whoever the fuck it is needs to fucking have some balls and just come to my face! Come to my face! You fucking coward! You're a coward! You ballless piece of shit! You ballless bastard! Touch my truck.
touch my truck! Touch my truck again! I swear to God, you guys. They put sugar in my tank and I swear. I'm fixing to turn it on them. I'm fixing to turn on them. Yeah. You guys want to play? You guys want to play? Let's play. Let's play.
Who I really feel for in this situation would be her dog, Heidi. Sometimes when Tammy has these meltdowns, the dog starts whining. I think it stresses her out. She's a fairly large dog that lives out of that truck with Tammy, and Tammy is less than kind to her sometimes. I can't include footage here, but there are a couple of clips that have made people absolutely despise the woman. And when people criticize her for this, among other things, she doesn't respond the best. Quite often, she will just punch her phone out of anger.
I don't care about that. That has nothing to do with romance. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to sideswipe me. Shut the fuck up. I don't give a fuck what any of you motherfuckers think of me. What our government's done to me.
Tammy's emotions can often shift rapidly. She can go from being sad about something to mad about it to completely calm, all in the span of like a minute. So when you're watching her, you never really know what to expect is coming next.
There is no justice. There is no justice in this world. It's fake. They're liars. They're liars. They're fucking liars. Our whole justice system is a fucking lie. Every fucking thing in it is a fucking lie. They're liars. America is liars. I don't care. Turn your fucking volume down. America is chock full of fucking lying, sexist shit that run our country into the ground. Go fuck yourself. What's the common use in your situation? Go fuck yourself. That's the common use, you motherfucker. Can't handle it no more. I'm so hot right now. I don't even want my fucking oysters. This fucking shit's gonna stop. Somebody needs to step in! America! Somebody watch somebody have a nervous breakdown! Over a fucking unjust police department! Hey! God! Take no more! I can't take no more! County Sheriff's Department in Carthage, Missouri is the lousiest, laziest, shittiest police department ever was. They need shut down. They need shut down. John Barnes, you fat motherfucker. God is coming for you all. You're dumb. All you had to do was tell the truth. All you had to do was tell the truth. Ah! God, I'm pissed. Fucking shut up. Fucking squatchy. Fucking Jasper County. It's Jasper County Sheriff's Department. You're failures. You're fucking failures.
Tammy does stuff like this all the time. If she isn't raging about the government or someone in chat, then she's doing stuff like this.
Kiss my ass. That's how they act when I come around. I know it's one thing, no, they can kiss my.
By now, I think you've got a pretty good picture as to what Tammy Hull makes for her content and who she is as a person. She'll rage against the government, talk about hemlock, and constantly ask her fans for financial assistance. Earlier, I talked about how Tammy was a notorious scam artist, and it's not only the lies that she tells her audience to receive money that I'm talking about, because Tammy has a lengthy criminal history going far back from before she started TikTok or YouTube. Public intoxication, passing bad checks, aiding and abetting a minor in need of supervision. I don't know what that one's about. Driving without a license and DUI. Since 2008, Tammy has been writing bad checks, so for her to lie to her audience about where she's staying for the night isn't nearly as bad, at least in her mind. The point I'm trying to make now is I think
Alexa,
that is the
what level can I
primary reason
find
Tammy is
iron
on
ore in
social media.
Minecraft?
I think that she likes to have a platform to spread awareness about her conspiracy theories, but she also sees it as her primary source of getting money. Ironic because Tammy actually won a lawsuit against a chicken company that she worked for a couple of years back.
Alexa, what
claiming
level can I
around
find diamonds in
$70,000,
Minecraft?
which has all been spent well before she started TikTok. It is also speculated that Tammy might have a gambling problem, as sometimes she'll go live from in front of casinos begging for money. But aside from all of this, we don't know much more on Tammy. It seems she's currently located around the DC area, raging about the government and spreading awareness about her hemlock conspiracy. Tammy goes live very often and posts quite frequently, so it can kind of be a big task to keep up with her. So if you're trying to keep up to date with her, I cannot recommend enough r/Tammy Hull on Reddit. Without their studious archive of Tammy's exploits, this video would simply not be possible. A big shout out to them, as well as Charlie_H_83 for clipping.
In the movie Goodfellas, Robert De Niro doesn't like the way fake money feels in his hand and wants to use real.
And you try to get with my friends, and you date other people just pick me up. Make that make sense. Oh, and another thing. I thought you only dated big girl. What's up with that? And bro, I never put money in your bucks. I never did. and, like, admit to everything and, like, grow up and learn how to be a better father. No wonder why Brittany's trying to get full custody and get a restraining order on your ass. So, because not him dating a girl is like, oh, sorry, this is funny. And not him dating an S offender and a perfect match. A very perfect match.
Leslie also wasn't happy that Perry had continued to try and get with her friends, making this post about it on TikTok. Like, if you miss me and are that obsessed, just say that. Stop following and trying to get with my friends, Perry. They don't want you. Leslie believed that Perry was obsessed with her, and Perry's got no one to blame for that but himself. It seems like every few months or so we hear that Perry's been talking with Leslie again. He'll always deny it, but she's forgotten the past. I think Perry just knows that she's available. Once again, it turns out that she wasn't. She was dating his baby mama, Brittany. But can you guess what happened next? To shock to almost everyone, they would break up. And this time, Leslie would respond with a completely different tale of why. She said that she had been friends with Brittany to gather information that she was relaying back to Perry, and when she had served her purpose, he tossed her aside. Here she is talking about it.
Ignore my hair, I'm literally just waking up. But anyways, story time. Remember how I told you all that me and my girlfriend broke up? Well, for a little while, I tried to be her friend again so I can get information from Perry. And after I got all the information, all the info, most of the info, I told Perry, and then Perry wants to be a hoe towards me, and said he doesn't f with me after everything I just did for his ass? Really? And another note, you're gonna talk shit towards me and be towards me and try to put me and Brittany both in jail when one, I didn't even do shit, and two, throw Brittany in jail for what? What? But another note, you wanna say, you sit here and say that we're rats, but you're really ratting to the cops about your baby mama. Make that make some sense, but she hasn't done shit, okay? Okay? And one, Brittany, she will ever be a better parent than you ever be, Perry. Because one, you never tend to that kid, and then on top of that, what the fuck are you trying to throw me in jail? What the fuck did I do? You trying to throw me in jail because for the beginning I was on Brittany's side? Really? Okay, it's fine, but hey, all I have to do is tell the cops what you've been doing to that kid, Perry. And your eyes will be the one going to jail, not her. Because you're not gonna sit here and fake be my friend just so you can get information out of me about Brittany. You ain't doing it anymore. I'm done. I'm done with the drama. I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done being a part of it.
And for now, this would be the end of Brittany and Leslie's quote-unquote relationship. It doesn't mean that she still isn't mad about it, and it doesn't mean that the drama with Perry and his own baby mama is over. Perry would accuse Brittany of kidnapping their child. Brittany would say, if you believe this, then call the police. And Perry said that he had, and they just didn't care. Perry would then make a couple of posts saying that he was green-lighting Brittany, whatever that means. Perry would also go on to break up with his girlfriend that was on the registry, finding another one within the week. And I gotta say it, Perry's new girlfriend looks really young. I find this whole baby mama situation particularly funny given the history that Leslie already has with Brittany. The two have been beefing for a significant amount of time. Brittany knew that Leslie was interested in Perry and would not hesitate to steal him away, so she was always kind of threatened by her. And Leslie wasn't a big fan of Brittany either. Here's a clip from a couple months back before all of this dating even happened, where Leslie claims that she ran into Brittany in the grocery store and they had an awkward confrontation.
Good morning. Here is the story time y'all have been waiting for. Sorry it took me a long time for me to post this. Hey, me and my girl went grocery shopping yesterday, like we always do once a fucking month. And we needed air filters. So I went to the air filters, trying to find the ones we needed, and Perry comes around the fucking corner and goes, ooh, I just mind my business, trying to find what I need, put it in the cart, and I just go about my business. And then I don't remember what else I needed from over there. So I called my friend up. I'm like, dude, I just seen Perry in here. And And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. So I went into like a fucking corner, and I turned my camera around, and so she could like see him. And then she was like, what's up? I'm like, yeah. Because, wait, never mind. I'm not going to tell her business. Never mind. Anyways, so I was trying to find, after I got everything on the non-grocery side of Walmart, I was looking around trying to find my grandmother. Because she goes and gets the groceries on the grocery side of Walmart, and then I go on the non-grocery side and get the non-stuff grocery items that we need. And it's not my fault that we were walking in the same direction and shit. It's not my fault that we kept going the same way. But no, they swear up and fucking down I was following them. Bitch, I was not fucking following y'all. I was looking for my grandmother. And then when I was walking to the bathroom, the bitch had the audacity, and when they were checking out fixing to leave, they had to walk past the bathroom to go out the entrance door. When they were passing by the bathroom, I was waiting for them to pass by the bathroom so I could go inside the bathroom to freaking pee. She turned around and went like that, and then I hollered really fucking loudly so that bitch can fucking hear me. And I said, "Do you got a fucking problem? Cause I can fix it real quick." But anyway, yeah. And then
Another thing that I've noticed with Leslie recently is the significant decline of her lung health. Leslie will do sleeping live streams. They're not always that, but occasionally we'll get one. But in the most recent sleep stream, her snoring got so much worse. I really think she could have sleep apnea. I'm not a professional, but when your snoring sounds like an old washing machine, something might be wrong. She's also talked at length about lung issues before. Here she is talking about how she needs to schedule a doctor's appointment.
okay, I'm getting a lot of comments about my breathing. Y'all, I'm working on that. Okay, I'm working on it. I'm going to the doctor's report tomorrow. The reason why I breathe like that is because my airways are narrow, and I gotta get that fixed. If they don't, if it doesn't fix the way they want to fix it first, then I'm gonna have to go through surgery. But I'm working on it. I go to the doctor tomorrow and get some equipment so I can do a sleep, at-home sleep study, so I can do it at home and then bring the results back to them Friday and find out what the results are. Because my breathing has not been normal. I've been breathing heavily at night. I wake up in the middle of the night because I can't breathe. Like, it's the whole 9 yards. So, I'm working on it. I'm trying to get it taken care of. It's just going to take a little while longer than I was hoping. But yeah, but I'm working on it. So I gotta take an inhaler frequently, and I just don't take it like I'm supposed to because I'm not used to taking one. But yeah, that's that.
On top of all these other things that Leslie has been dealing with, her attitude has gotten pretty bad lately. A couple of months ago, she would almost exclusively post about her life with the occasional Perry, but ever since the Britney breakup, she's been different, more aggressive towards chat. We've seen her punch her phone for some of the first times, and also single out comments to rage over. Here is a TikTok of just that.
So Caitlin, what your dumb ass is saying? I can't post a video of me singing without you thinking I'm singing to my fucking ex. Make that make fucking sense. How many times do I have to fucking tell y'all? Learn your fucking facts before I jump into fucking conclusion. Like, make that make fucking sense. Didn't y'all learn that in fucking school? Didn't y'all parents fucking teach y'all that? Cause I know mine did. So I can't post a video without y'all thinking I'm doing it for my fucking ex. Y'all need to grow up, learn y'all facts before y'all jump into fucking conclusion. Last time I'm fucking saying it.
Leslie's been having problems with her granny. She threatened to kick her out. She's been having problems with Perry and his baby mama, who she dated and broke up with like 3 or 4 times. She's been having problems with her TikTok audience, who have a renewed interest in her, seeing view counts that she hasn't in months. All of this may have happened, but at her core, Leslie has changed very little. You can go back and find videos from her 5 years ago on YouTube. You'll still hear her talk about Perry. You'll still hear her talk about Granny. It's just like it is today. But the levels of drama she finds herself in are like the tides of the ocean. They come in and they go out. We had this massive Perry 2.0 saga, and then she just disappears. As of the creation of this video, Leslie has not been seen on her TikTok page for over a week. Something very uncharacteristic of her, and that is where the video would have ended if Leslie wouldn't have made an unprecedented return. After 6 days off TikTok, Leslie would come back and be less than happy with her audience, who she claims were frantically contacting her friends looking for an update.
Hi, I know it's been a few days since I've been posting. That doesn't give y'all the fucking right reason to go to my friends and message them and ask about me. Text me. Message me. Because my friends got life to live too, just like everybody else does, just like I do. So if everybody wants to know my fucking business and the reason why I haven't been on here in the last few fucking days, it's called because I have a fucking life to live. My life isn't about TikTok 24/7. So, that being said, quit messaging my friends about me.
All of this makes me think that her obsession with Perry is really just beginning. I can confidently say it's worse than ever, doing almost anything to get Perry's attention, including this on-again, off-again relationship with his baby mama, Brittany, which has been extremely messy. One day, Leslie will be talking about how in love she is, and the next accuse Brittany of being nothing but a gold digger. But it's all to get her closer to Perry. She was more than willing to spill all of Brittany's secrets to Perry at the drop of a hat. I firmly think that she would do anything that he asked. It's clear to almost everyone watching that Leslie is nothing but a pawn in a game being played between Brittany and Perry. I also believe that they're using their child in an extremely similar way. Nothing but a tool to spite the other one. It's just a horrible situation, and Leslie couldn't be happier to be a part of it. She willingly inserts herself in these situations to try and get closer to Perry, like filming him in Walmart, and of course, dating his baby mama. I don't really think that Leslie cared too much that she was being used by Brittany. My proof of this is that she took her back countless times. I think we might even see them get back together at some point in the very near future, which I think is going to be very interesting in terms of Leslie content. For almost a year now, she has been very low-key, slowly losing more people that were interested in her. But as it had done in the past, the Perry drama reinvigorated people. And I think it reinvigorated Leslie. She's become so much more confrontational lately, so much that it's beginning to feel like the old days again. But with this new baby mama drama, the threat of being kicked out of Granny's, and renewed interest in content creation, I think that big changes are coming to Leslie's life, and coming soon.
fan, and then the front of the fan will spray the air, and then so basically you got some beautiful piss air. It smells good, it's hygienic, women love it, so get you some piss air.
I'm gonna warn you right now that this is quite tame in comparison to some of the videos that he would put out in the future, but the vast majority would be oriented around these jugs filled with liquid. The contents of these jugs have been debated quite frequently by viewers of Mr. Pissair's content, but he has always maintained that these are pee jugs, which he absolutely loves. These would mostly be the center of his videos, but there would also be another kind of emerging content that viewers were extremely interested in, and that is the house tour. Not only had Mr. Pissair's antics with jugs got him attention from followers on TikTok, but so had the absolute state of his home. People knew that it was bad, but they didn't know just how bad it was until he gave us a room tour.
What's up, guys? Today, we're going to be doing a room tour. So we got the piss air right there. We got the food box. And this is the cooking station. This is where I do, So, this is the trash can, and this is my gaming setup, and I don't know what that is. This is the clothes, and this is my bed, and that's the second trash can.
The image of that mattress haunts me, and it's not even the worst thing in the room. Mr. Pissair had just begun his TikTok journey, and people were already mortified, and they were sure to let him know in the comments section. But this didn't bother him in the slightest, continuing to make videos centering around his beloved jugs, while also showing off his very eccentric personality. He had been posting for over a month now and was starting to gain traction. His personality, the jugs, the skits, it was really bringing people in. And like any good audience, they craved more content, which Mr. Pissair couldn't have been happier to deliver on. His room tour video had seen a massive success, so after many comments asking him to show more of the house, he would show us what I consider to be the most disturbing room in the home, the kitchen.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a kitchen tour. So, first of all, we got my sink. It's kind of brown right here. Don't worry about that. And, you know, the top part of the faucet, I don't know where that shit went, but it just kind of disappeared. You know, when you turn it on. What the? Okay. And this is where I wash my dishes, but, you know, I haven't done it in a couple of years. Over here, we got the stove. This is where I cook shit. You know, been cooking shit up because, like, you know, I'm a 5-star chef type shit. Over here, we got my fridge. It's kind of brown. Don't worry about that, though, because, like, the spirits and shit. But, yeah, that's my kitchen tour.
Almost everything in that room had this crust to it, likely years of filth just layered on there. And then there's the sink. How do you even use that? All of this fueled the rumors that Mr. Pissair didn't even live in this house. He just filmed content there. And like I said, we know very little about his personal life, but there is some evidence that this is actually his home. But we'll get into that later, because right after the kitchen tour, Mr. Pissair would start a new series that would reveal possibly why his kitchen was in that state, because he would start to make crazy concoctions in his kitchen on TikTok, always centered around the contents of his jugs.
And put it in there, shut that shit up, and start it. And so basically, once the 15 seconds are over, what you're going to want to do is take it out, open it up, and the stench will be so horribly bad.
And this is when things really started getting weird. He gave us a bathroom tour, which I'm not going to show you guys. I don't think any human being should have to witness that. It's actually worse than the kitchen. But that's not even what I'm talking about when I mean things got so much worse. Mr. Pissair was completely unleashed, having no issues creating some of the most bizarre and disgusting TikToks that he ever had. His TikToks were only increasing in popularity, as was the level of filth in his home. And like it had done before, the filth spawned yet another series for Mr. Pissair to take advantage of. And that is the constant war that he is at with the roaches living amongst him. It would be almost an impossibility for a house in this condition to be free of pests. There are plenty of places for them to hide, lots for them to eat, and that's really all they need. So I'm sure it doesn't shock you to know that this house is absolutely infested to the brim with cockroaches. But if he's good at anything, I would say it's making the best of a poor situation. So he just turned his issues with roaches into even more content.
Alright guys, I got the bug spray right here. These are the roaches. They're literally infesting my drawer. I can't open this, I'm too scared. So, on the count of 3, I'm gonna spray this. 3, 2, 1. Okay guys, this is the aftermath. As you can see, there's no more roaches. Oh, there's one right here.
Watching that video made me itch. I'm not gonna lie, a couple times during the production of this, I was physically ill. I didn't throw up or anything, but I came close a couple times. And that's how I knew this would be perfect for you guys. And a fair warning, I've yet to show you the worst. There will be so many more wars with roaches. So many more jug concoctions. At this point in the timeline, Mr. Pissair hadn't even reached the peak of his popularity, but he was gaining followers at a rapid pace, and saw no reason to end any of his series, giving the people yet another long-awaited glimpse at his house. This time it was the fridge, which is very disturbing.
What's up guys, today we're going to be doing a fridge tour. So first off, we got the freezer. I don't know what the fuck is in here. Some fucking doo-doo stains. I don't know. And down here we got the same thing. I don't know what all this is. And there's probably some fucking dirt, doo-doo stains. Look, man, it's brown. I don't know what it is. That's my fridge tour.
I'm not a pest control guy, but I'm pretty sure all of that is roach feces, and extremely, extremely bad for you to be touching or breathing in. But roaches weren't the only thing running around in Mr. Pissair's house. There were also what he calls mutant crickets. They're these crickets with crazy legs that have infested his basement.
What's up guys, today we're going to be going mutant bug hunting. If you want to know what that means, there's some unknown species of fucking cricket in my basement, and I'm going to eradicate this species. Okay y'all, that's one right there, we got one. Now we got to go in quick.
After a little bit of research, I figured out that these mutant bugs are most likely camel crickets, and they are much less of a nuisance than the roaches, but they are known to infest homes. If I'm being completely honest, if I saw one roach in my home, I would have the entire thing looked over. I forget exactly what the saying is, but it goes somewhere along the lines of, if you see one roach, there's 1,000 more you can't see. I counted a baker's dozen of roaches in that one video of his. The place has to be crawling with them. And You would think things like calling an exterminator or maybe getting a new faucet would be at the top of Mr. Pissair's priority list, but he is far too occupied with developing new and exciting ways of piss warfare.
What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a piss cannon. So basically what you're going to need is a bottle of piss. Once you have your bottle of piss, it's pretty easy from here. What you're going to want to do is just lay it down on the floor. Once it's on the floor like this, all you're going to want to do is jump on it. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make piss missiles. So what I have here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bottles of piss. Do not have the caps on these bottles. Leave them open and out. And today I'm going to be launching all 6 of these piss missiles. Okay, guys, so when you have a piss missile in your hand, you're going to want to hold it like this. I've got the others right here. Now I'm going to demonstrate how you throw it. Piss missile number 1. That's 1. Let's do it again. Piss missile number 2. Piss missile number 3. Piss missile number 4. Piss missile number 5. Piss missile number 6. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a piss booby trap for home intruders. So right here I got 4 bottles of piss. So let's start. This is one that I usually like to do. I like to put a piss bottle right here so that when they open the door, they step in the piss bottle without knowing. And then they're like, oh, I stepped in pee. All right, I'm going to rob this house. Another trap I like doing is putting piss on the top of the door. All right, putting piss on the top of the door and closing it. Not all the way, though. And leaving it like that. So when intruders come in, they'll get splashed with piss. Let me show you how that will work. Everybody get down. Wait a minute. Is this piss? Also, keep in mind, booby traps can get really messy, so you're going to have to clean up the bottles when you get home. Other than that, oh, it's leaking. Well, see ya. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here is the aftermath of the piss nuke. Oh my goodness.
Booby traps, cannons, missiles, he's made it all. The level of creativity that he is displaying in all of this is not lost on me, but neither is the rest of it. We now had a pretty good grasp on just how bad things were inside the home, but it seemed like as time went on and Mr. Pissair got even more popular, his home got worse. If you need proof, look no further than a house tour he posted a couple of months into his TikTok journey, and you'll notice that nothing has improved, even in the slightest.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a basement tour. So let's get down these steps and let me show you my basement. Alright, so this is the area where like all my clothes are at. So basically every morning I come down here and I pick an outfit for the day. And all my clothes are just conveniently here. The floor might be a little bit dirty, but that's alright. And right here, as you can see, this is my lawnmower. I use it to mow my floor. Usually people use it for grass, but same thing. And also, sometimes I record videos here. That's why it's a little dirty. Alright. Over here is the barricade, just in case I want to put some ops in my basement, just so they don't escape. Over here is where the mammals, beasts, and arachnids live. There's some unknown species of whatever that's living here. And honestly, I don't know what this shit is, but it's comfy as hell. So sometimes I just come in here and sleep on these cushions. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing the living room tour. So over here is the couch where I just chill type shit. Over here is the living area. There's nothing to do here, but we still be chilling. Over here is the closet. Sometimes I just jump in the trash and start rolling around and shit. Over here, this was the kitchen, but we just kind of gave up on it type shit. Over here is the fridge. Yep, over here is the fridge. Yep, everything in here is looking pretty tasty. Also, don't mind the ceiling. Yeah, that just busted open. I don't know how that happened.
During his time on TikTok, he was also creating another series, one where he would make food, including the contents of his jugs. They are absolutely vile, and I don't want to spend too much time on it if I'm being honest. But I do want to talk about it because I think that it is a big reason why the roach problem got even worse. Because if you thought Roach War 1 was crazy, Roach War 2 and 3 were on a completely different level.
What's up, guys? Today we're going to be going to war with the roaches in my room again.
makes more money. Shut the fuck up.